The big worm in the middle didn't get to level, very unfortunate. Deployment spec number 2 if my opponent so desires, and he does desire. I go for the tank production line. I can definitely get some value out of this worm producing tanks all the time. The sandworm kinda needs another round to level if it gets a similar amount of damage done. He did still do top damage last round. And this is starting to get a bit desperate for both of us, I wanna say. I'm facing ever further scaling marksmen, but my opponent is facing ever more scaling worms. He can throw a javelin, but that's going to tickle this sandworm a bit. Well, it's going to do a lot of damage, but it can also heal pretty quickly. I've decided to drop even more wasps. They are a problem, and they need to be gone. I also decide to kinda avoid this area. That rhino is officially a boom rhino. It is doing some 257,807 damage when it booms. And this worm is very much so close to that health. So this rhino is effectively an anti-sandworm bomb. I do also put a second worm there. I didn't really think about explosions. I guess they are somewhat viable, like the amount of health on rhinos and sandworms, if you multiply it by the cost of the unit, is kind of similar. I also moved away that sandworm here. So the javelin hits basically nothing. However, this rhino is probably going to get top damage next round. It's already killed one. No, actually, there's EMP wasps. I forgot, yeah, these wasps have EMP. I think I was thinking about disabling some marksmen or something like that. So the rhino didn't boom. Look at the healing this sandworm is doing as it approaches the marksman. It is back to full, baby. It is a level 4 sandworm and soon to be level 5. It is EMP'd, but it continues eating away at the enemy. It is taking a lot of damage though. Finally level 5. This time around I do actually have quite an army and even some anti-air left on this side. There's also still these, hang on, these are wasps. Oh, these are just the level 3 fire badgers. Ah, no, there is still some level 7 fire badgers with 72,000 and change health. They are definitely a problem as well. That sandworm is also level 3 and is continuing to produce sledges all the time. I have no more anti-air. That is kind of the running gag of this entire round and match so far. But the sandworm is approaching relentlessly. And though my opponent technically still has units that I literally cannot kill, he does not have the time to kill all of these units. He gets another fire badger, that's probably all, yeah. At this rate, I'm gonna win because he's going to run out of health sooner. Iron Blast, which is very good for me, I wanna say. I have units that approach. They are much harder to hit. There's also super heavy armor, though. Even Defense Specialist, I think, is a good choice. This worm can officially go to level 5. He throws the Iron Blast right in the middle to all of these Stormcallers that can hopefully EMP the Marksmen and help do damage or prevent damage. Instead of the Iron Blast, which unironically probably would be better, I decide to just go for the armor and throw it on the last worm that I'm actively using. So this sandworm is officially at 270,000 health as well. This one's at almost 350k and this one's at about 235k. I could even add armor for even more health, but I decide to add just more worms. Add a couple 100,000 health points to the board, why not? And then add some more wasps in order to try and defeat his army. At this point there's enough wasps out so that they are actually viable chaff against the motherload of marksmen that is at this location here. The main reason why I decided to go for these the sandworm strategy is because I plain couldn't really think of much else into this board of scaling marksmen. They would just gun down everything else. He does decide to add, what did he add? Ah yeah, acid on the crawlers. I didn't even see that going and I was definitely, once I saw it, I was very much so disheartened. And expected myself to lose, but I'm not gonna spoil it. Because, well, I do have Saber, EMP and acid protection. So the back line gets completely obliterated. But actually the worms have gone through the acid. Unlike normal units, they actually just move out of the puddles if they can get the stuff behind them killed fast enough. Which means that there is now a severe worm infestation that my opponent has to deal with. There's going to be tower debuffs. Probably. I did put a level, no, actually 2 levels on that tower. And my opponent did not. So I'm getting the tower debuff before he does. And this is an absolute worm infestation. Look at that sandworm regenerating health. That is, yeah, several tens of thousands of health points per second. It dives under the EMP, is slowed so it doesn't approach fast enough. It approaches faster while un-EMP'd, and then continues to kill everything else along with the other sandworms. It ends up being quite a landslide victory in the last round, despite the acid here. Well, so much for marksman spam. Yeah, just look at these fat marksmen. They are pushing into level 5, level 6, no problem on many of those. A bunch of level 4s. These have less levels because they got killed faster by this sandworm, which was just pushing through a lot more easily than the sandworm on this side. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe there just were better levels before and the sandworm got killed a bunch more times. But yeah, the worm infestation just pushed through. I love it. Also, we have level 7 fire badgers with an item. These are also awesome. So that, I guess, is my own take on basically just worm fire badger, I guess. Worm fire badger, wasps, and stormcrawlers. That is my army. And my opponent's army kind of was loads of marksmen, loads of chaff, and wasps. And I guess some arclights. But there really isn't all that many arclights. And I guess 2 stormcrawlers from the early game, but I don't think we need to count them that much. Anyway, MVP without any dispute. This absolute giga chat of a sandworm. And yeah, I hope you had a lot of fun. And fun is going to continue when I'm trying to figure out how my opponent could have still won this round, because I have no clue. Attempt number 3. And at this point, I think I have an idea of what I want to do. I think the explosive rhino defense has to kinda be it. I want photon on the rhinos here. And let me just sell. No, not sell. Let me buy out stuff. And I think I do definitely need to sell some stuff. But the biggest thing that I kind of want to sell is the stormcrawlers here. Everything else does definitely have a purpose. I wonder if leveling these marksmen is even worth it, to be honest. They kind of don't do enough more compared to what they are already doing. I definitely need to shield because fire is coming down and it's not a secret or anything. So let me throw down shields in the complete front area and then put that on the rhino. And then I think the approach is for me to recruit an elite rhino. I don't have much more money. I think I just elite this. And it should do a very decent amount of damage. And then I'm going to missile some stuff out of the way. Maybe? Actually, let me level those wasps. And hope that it works this time. Alright, let's see. 2 rhinos against the sandworm army. Fire, except very small patches, is actually defended this time around. The rhino goes to work, and the marksmen are definitely keeping it alive. Oh, I didn't pick acid on the ground here. It was doing something previously, but the big question is, was it doing enough to justify the cost? The rhino definitely didn't do enough here, though. And the rhino finally exploded here. This sandworm is dying. Okay, that is good. I have a decent army. I do have a very decent army, so I think I'm definitely onto something here. The question is, am I onto enough? Because there really isn't much to stop this sandworm here. But it's going to absolutely... Oh no. Never mind. The burst fire from this many marksmen surviving is actually enough. And I'm not entirely sure, but I think that would have actually ended me. Alright. So I guess that is the way to defend against it. Shield against the fire. So a lot of marksmen and chaff actually survives. go for the heavy armor on the Rhino and make it basically an absolute giga unit here, and go for an additional Rhino to soften up these units in the front. Yeah, I guess the best move probably would have been putting it like here so it can demolish both of these sandworms. That could have been even better. But alas, I found a way by attempt number 3, so the board that I had could actually get stopped by explosive and high-tech rhinos. Who would have guessed? Well, learn something new every day. Thanks everybody for watching and listening, and until next time.